welcome to my channel, and thank you for being here. Don't forget to subscribe and enjoy a new story every single day. Today, I want to share with you a deeply personal chapter of my life. It's a story about love, pain, and ultimately self-discovery. A story I hope will resonate with anyone who has faced challenges in their relationships. It all began several years into my marriage to my wife, Rachel. When we first got married, I was convinced we were living the dream, building a life together that was full of love and harmony. After our wedding, we moved into a cozy home in Boston, a place where we imagined creating countless memories together. For the longest time, it felt as though our relationship was a beautifully choreographed dance. We were in sync, emotionally connected, and our love life was deeply fulfilling. But as time passed, I started to notice small changes. Subtle at first, like the faint rustling of leaves before a storm. Rachel started turning down my advances. At first, she blamed exhaustion from work or a busy day. Then it became her favorite TV shows or the need for alone time. Each excuse seemed reasonable at first, but over time, they added up. The once seamless intimacy we shared began to unravel, replaced by a growing distance I couldn't ignore. I tried everything I could to reignite our connection. I planned date nights, cooked her favorite meals, and even surprised her with small gestures of love and appreciation. But no matter what I did, the result was always the same: a polite smile, a quick thank you, and then another reason why she couldn't be close to me. Each rejection felt like a dagger to my confidence, leaving me questioning what I was doing wrong. After months of trying to fix things and failing, I made a decision. I decided to stop initiating intimacy altogether. This wasn't just out of frustration, though I'd be lying if I said I wasn't frustrated. It was also an experiment of sorts, a way to see what would happen if I reversed the roles. Would Rachel notice? Would she miss the connection we once had? The results came faster than I expected. Almost immediately, Rachel began seeking my attention. At first, her attempts were subtle, like a casual touch on my arm or a lingering glance. But as the days went on, she became more direct, more assertive, just like she used to be in the early days of our marriage. For a moment, I felt a flicker of hope. Maybe this was a breakthrough we needed. But I wasn't ready to let go of my plan just yet. I continued to hold back, declining her advances with the same excuses she had given me: work, exhaustion, or simply wanting to enjoy some quiet time. Each time, I watched as confusion crept into her expression, followed by irritation and finally anger. One evening, while we were sitting on the couch watching a sitcom, she caught me off guard. She leaned into me, her head resting on my shoulder, her voice soft as she said, "Marcus, it's been a while, hasn't it?" Her fingers traced a delicate path across my chest, a gesture that once would have made my heart race. But I had resolved to stick to my plan. "Rachel, I'm really tired tonight," I replied, keeping my voice steady even though I felt the familiar pull of desire. "Let's just enjoy the show, okay?" Her face changed instantly. The warmth and playfulness vanished, replaced by surprise, then confusion, and finally anger. "Are you rejecting me?" she asked, her voice sharp and accusing. "After all this time, I've tried to get close to you, and now you're turning me down?" Her words hit hard, but I knew this moment was necessary. "Rachel," I said calmly, "this is exactly how I felt for months. Do you have any idea what it's like to constantly be rejected by the person you love? Do you know how much it hurts?" For the first time, Rachel seemed to understand the depth of my pain. Her expression softened, but the tension between us didn't dissolve. It lingered, hanging in the air like a heavy cloud. I decided to take things a step further. The next time Rachel made a move, I agreed to her advances. Her eyes lit up with anticipation, and for a moment, it felt like we were back to our old selves. But just as things were about to become intimate, I staged a distraction. My phone rang, a call I had arranged in advance. I pretended it was urgent, apologized, and left the room, leaving Rachel confused and alone. Later that night, when I returned, I found her waiting for me. Her emotions were simmering just below the surface, her voice trembling as she said, "I can't believe you did that, Marcus. You avoided intimacy on purpose. It felt awful. This was the moment I had been waiting for." "Now you know how I felt," I said, my voice steady but firm. "All those months when I tried to get close to you and you pushed me away. Do you have any idea how much it hurt?" Her eyes widened, the realization dawning on her. For the first time, she truly seemed to understand what her actions had done to me. But instead of bringing us closer, this moment of clarity only revealed how far apart we had drifted. In a fit of frustration, Rachel grabbed my phone and hurled it against the wall, the sound of it shattering echoing through the room. It wasn't just about the phone or our intimacy issues. It was about the growing chasm between us, a rift that had been silently widening for years. In that moment, I realized our relationship was beyond saving. I had tried everything I could to rebuild the love we once shared, but it was clear Rachel wasn't willing to meet me halfway. "Rachel," I said calmly, "I think it's time we end this. I'll be contacting my lawyer." The shock on her face was evident, but deep down, I knew this was the right decision. Our marriage was no longer a partnership. It had become a battlefield. The divorce process, while emotionally draining, went smoother than I expected. With the help of my lawyer, I retained full ownership of our house and car and wasn't required to pay alimony. Rachel moved back in with her parents, and to my surprise, they reached out to apologize for how things had unfolded. Their gesture brought me a sense of closure I hadn't anticipated. Now, as I navigate life on my own, I've learned some hard but valuable lessons. Love isn't enough to sustain a relationship. Respect, communication, and understanding are just as important. Without them, even the strongest love will crumble. If there's one thing I hope you take away from my story, it's this: don't be afraid to stand up for yourself. Demand the love and respect you deserve, and don't hesitate to walk away if your happiness and mental health are at stake. Thank you for watching and listening. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this, and I'll see you in the next video.